Oh, me. Isn't that nice? Thank you. Welcome, folks. I hope everyone had a nice 4th of July. And certainly a lot got accomplished in the last couple of weeks. But first, we'll start with our town clerk report.
Okay. Today, we transferred the reserve account from Bangor Savings to M&T Bank. So the Bangor reserve account is now officially closed. The mill account also was closed and paid out at the closing of the mill. So the only 2 accounts that exist in Bangor Savings now is the Elijah Fox and Bartlett Doe account.
Fox and who?
Bartlett Doe.
Elijah
Bartlett.
Fox and Bartlett Doe.
Thank you.
Wait, Bartlett Doe is part of the reserve.
That's a separate thing. We'll have to look at that.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll need to look at that, because when
Okay.
you deposited that, those checks, monthly checks, they went into the,
The big reserve.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess I'm thinking it's a separate, but it's not.
Yeah,
You're
no.
right. Okay.
It's accounted for.
So it's just Elijah Fox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, sorry. The nomination papers for the municipal election are due tonight by 6 p.m. The municipal election will take place on Friday, September 8th. Absentee ballots will be available 45 days prior to the election, and that will be on July 25th. I did want to ask about warrant article requests and budget requests. Do we have a deadline for those? Do we publicize that in the shopper's guide? Baldwin used to, and it was just on my radar, so. I didn't know if you guys had like a cutoff, if people wanted something considered by the budget committee or not.
We haven't in the past.
We haven't had a cutoff?
Yeah.
No, I think it's set when we know when the budget committee is gonna start, then that's when the rush is on. Last year I had to call quite a few people.
I didn't know if it was a certain amount of days before town meeting.
Well, I mean, we gotta print it. How soon do you print before the town meeting, you print the?
2 days.
Yeah, it's gotten really bad lately, because we don't get stuff, or we did, I say we, it's only the clerk. Ideally, they'd be printed by August 1st.
Okay, so cutoff should be by the middle of July or something, if somebody, I would say. Isn't that pretty reasonable?
Did you say have a date?
I'm
Deb?
still working on closing out. I should know next week.
No, but I mean, if somebody wants something on the warrant, they have to get X amount of signatures, correct?
No,
Is that what you're talking about?
no.
No.
The request that comes in like soccer feed rescue.
Life
I
flight.
thought you meant new article.
No.
Well, that's
It
part
goes
of it, what
hand
Debbie's
in
saying,
hand.
but can also be requests for new
Right.
warrant
Yeah.
articles.
I would think,
Yeah, but the requests have to come in with 80 signatures, roughly?
No, typically for the annual town meeting, those are requests made to the board, and the
Okay.
board has the say in it.
All right.
If somebody brings something with 80 signature, whatever the number is.
They have to go on, it has to go on the,
yeah, I think,
Okay.
well, I think that's how we kinda handled it before. I thought, we kinda thought there had to be a percentage of people signatures of the previous town vote or something like that.
yeah, well, that's
Because it's,
true for like a special town meeting or something.
people have come with
No,
us,
any town.
because people have come to us before in the previous years, and we've said, you need to get signatures, we're not
Right.
just gonna put it on. Now,
Okay.
maybe that was partly because we weren't in agreement with it,
Yeah.
which I guess is,
Last time that happened was the lot on Route 25. The rest area that
yeah.
they didn't quite have enough signatures the first time, so they got enough and we put it on the warrant for last year.
What are we telling Danielle?
We're telling,
I mean, we could set, was July 15th sounds reasonable to me, and then if the budget committee needs to know about it, no?
Except that's 4 days away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, I mean, have people called and asked?
I have a few here, but I know how to call just like last year.
They keep trickling.
And July 15th won't, when was that?
Or, I'm just thinking the middle of July, I mean, if the budget committee has to know about things.
Well,
How often do they meet?
3, 4 times maybe.
when they need. I mean, they really should have met by now.
Who's responsible for calling them together?
Harvey's been monitoring it or chairing it.
He is on the budget committee.
I think that really should be this board that calls the budget committee together. Obviously, this year Harvey is doing it, and that's fine.
I'm just thinking as in going forward, it wouldn't be bad to have a date, so people
Yeah.
aren't questioning every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, there's a date. So maybe not July 15th this year, but I mean, what's wrong with the middle of July? That's only a month and a half before town meeting.
Right.
You know
I
what I
agree.
mean?
I guess what I might say is, well, geez, we can't even get anything into the shopping guide until the 19th.
Well, that's what I
So like the 21st or something, or?
I mean, could you say 30?
I mean, this year, don't say this year's fine, whatever, do whatever we need to do so people
Yeah.
have proper notification, but we ought to say going forward,
Yeah.
we ought to say July 15th. I mean, they have 11 months, 10 and a half months
Yeah.
after town meeting to think about it, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, before the next one.
I think 99% of the people know, but there was one or two that I had to call
Right.
last year.
It would just be nice to have something that says this is
Yeah.
the date that,
And it'd be nice, I mean, people start looking for the town report
right.
right around the end of
Right.
July.
It would be beneficial to the selectmen too, because
Yeah.
I don't know how many questions get raised at town meeting that people, and I'm not saying it's just because they just picked up the thing, but half the time if they had picked it up a week before or 2 weeks before and actually read it, the answers are all in there to their questions. You know what I mean? If they had to,
Yeah. So what if we said, I guess maybe I wouldn't worry about the shopping guide this year. Say, if you can publicize it on the website and Facebook, and say stuff's gotta be in by the 20th of July, and we're not open on the 21st. That'd be my suggestion.
Okay, makes sense to you, Jim?
yeah, and then going forward, say the third
Okay.
Monday or third Tuesday of the month, third Tuesday of July, you know, going forward or something like that.
So, ideally, when do you guys want to see town report? Ready to roll?
Budget committee's a big part of that, so, I
Okay.
mean,
It would
stuff,
be ideally the middle of
Yeah.
August,
Right.
Yeah.
I think. 2
Yeah.
weeks would be great if people had 2
2 to 3
weeks to
weeks
pick them
before
up.
town meeting?
Yeah. that's actually 3 weeks if we get it out.
Yeah, well, that's even better, I mean,
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, we get a lot, and it's
creeping
not
up
gonna
on
get
us,
rid of
so-
all of the questions, but it would get, some people would have their questions answered before they come in, you know what I mean, and not ask pointless questions.
Yeah.
There will be a lot more information in this report than in previous years with the animal control, the CEO, rescue, that type of thing. So it will be in there so people can,
Who's putting all those reports together?
me,
Okay.
that's whether it's gonna be, it'd probably be a summary, it might only be the last month. Might only be what happened in June, but going forward, there'll be every month, but I don't wanna have 50 pages of,
No.
so you're talking
Summarize.
6 or 7 pages type of thing. One for each function,
Okay, yeah, 1 page for each,
function, yeah.
yeah, okay.
And, you know, surplus, recycle be in there, all that type of thing that people know about but really don't know about.
Good.
Okay, good. Saw Ricky yesterday. Just touching base on where we're at with his cell phone share. Are we sharing Standish's cell phone?
He hasn't said a thing in here.
We're definitely not sharing Sebago's.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's up to Ricky?
He hasn't mentioned it in the past 2 weeks that I'm aware of.
Alright, he bent my ear on it, so
Does
just
he
go.
okay.
know that he should be checking on this?
That's what I'm wondering on the communication on it,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure.
We need to make sure the
He
communication.
must be getting the call somehow, I'm not exactly sure.
Personal cell
Well,
phone,
That's
yeah,
how he's
that's what we're
getting it.
trying to get away from.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he's getting the calls. The problem is, has he talked to Stanley?
Right.
Share.
Alright, I'll ask him on Monday.
Okay.
So maybe it would be fine if he talked to Sebago, but that's not what I got from who I'm acquainted with, the selectman. He didn't sound like he was even gonna ask about it,
Yeah.
so.
Alright. I will talk to Ricky. Renee worked really hard and we officially have a 3-ring binder of all the appointments and everything. I just wanted to bring up, we talked to Debbie about it a little bit, Stockby Rescue Board. There was talk about that we don't have representation because Ricky hasn't been accepted yet. Saban Beckwith is on the rescue board and his term expires in 2025.
Yeah, we were actually talking about that.
Okay.
Maybe you mentioned it to Debbie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we just
So
wanted
we
to
do
bring
have
that
one
up.
representative.
Okay, and there is one vacant spot.
So why hadn't Ricky get accepted?
We don't know.
The
There's
rescue
still,
board has said they may not want it.
yeah,
Apparently, they have it set up in their bylaws that they can reject people that the town recommends or nominates.
I'll find it, I'll ask him about that.
Yeah.
I'll ask him. Well, also, don't we have the chair?
Well,
Oh, he's all done?
He's done.
Oh, he is?
we
Okay.
just don't have any representation right now.
Well, I'll ask him.
Well, we have saved.
Saban.
Saban's not attending, is he?
Oh, I don't know.
Does he even know he's appointed?
Well, I don't know.
He must, we wouldn't have just appointed somebody without
Okay.
Talking to him.
them coming to us.
Did he have, an oath sheet?
In 2022, January. But I thought there was talk that we didn't have representation at these Stockby
Well,
board
frankly,
meetings.
until today, I didn't know Saban
Okay.
was on it. I didn't recall that. My bad.
And what about the vacant spot? Is that gonna get put out there for interest or?
You wanna put it on the website?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it on the website. I mean, we did before.
Okay.
I'll find out about Ricky before next meeting,
Yeah.
why they haven't accepted him.
Okay. I got an email from Eric Frey. He would like,
Can you skipped over one.
what's that? Oh, I
10
was gonna
Sun.
leave that for last.
Oh, good, the best for last.
Yeah, that's, well,
Okay.
it's kind of like the, what we've heard type of section.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Eric Frey would like to buy the 2024 Uniform Plumbing Code Book in PDF version. It's $135. I just wanted to make sure that was okay with the board to do that. He needs to finish his LPI training.
Now, that's online apparently.
It is, and this is an electronic version, so he thinks once we buy this, it can go on his unit, the CEO's unit, and we can have a copy at the office, so.
Oh,
Or
okay.
print it. So, is that okay to purchase with a credit card? Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, like I mentioned to you, I thought I told him go ahead and buy it a year
Okay.
ago.
Yeah, so I think so, and
Yeah.
if we have to, then we'll have it,
Yep,
assuming that, I don't know how often they update that.
And he has completed, we have a certificate on file for residential building and subsurface wastewater, and he has also passed the legal issue training, so.
so our backup's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just want to point out that there was money allocated for that position for Eric, and he did not use any of that this past budget year. So I don't,
Money meaning salary?
Yeah.
well, it
Salary,
was hourly pay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to think about having him come in a couple hours during the week or something to get his feet wet, or I don't know.
Yeah,
We gotta talk to Jesse, see what, what's going on.
yeah, yeah.
But it could be a good idea, couple hours a month or something, just to review things and see what's supposed to be filled out.
Yeah.
Okay. It was brought to our attention that we've got some squatters on Hasty Road. They've been there for 2 weeks. Is that land dust's, issue?
I don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's private property.
Okay,
I went over the same night I went over here,
okay.
and, yeah, there was nobody there when I went by, but I'm assuming they have vehicles, because that's quite a ways from anything.
They leave early in the morning, come back at night.
Really?
Yeah. They're not campers, we'll put it that way.
What's that?
They're not campers by any means.
No. Not campers as in, you mean,
They're not just there for a vacation.
oh, got it. Yeah, so I can, probably,
How far is this
that would be something, David,
From-
they're right on the road.
I have these-
Literally right on the road.
I can email David tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be great, and tell
They're
him they're
probably not
on,
aware of it.
Yeah, okay, no, I will.
they're,
email.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of that brook. That was
Tasty Brook.
Hasty Brook, they're right on Hasty Brook,
Okay,
how many,
2 or 3 tents,
oh,
you know.
Yeah,
like
it
4
should
man
be
tents.
on land vest, and then they can call law enforcement if
Right.
they want.
Yeah,
I'll let you know what David said.
And that's all the hearsay we've heard. So just gave you the 2022 tax update. We've collected 96% so far. 30-day lien notices will be sent out July 21st on the 2022 taxes. That's all I got.
that's enough,
great.
thank you.
Yep.
All right. As usual, we've approved, 2 weeks ago agenda. And, today's agenda, really, and last week's minutes. Well, we have a double set of bills that we approved and paid, because at the end of the fiscal year, and we're trying to get all of the bills that were incurred last year in last year's money, so that we don't start out this year with last year's expenses. We have no report from the code enforcement officer this week. We're expecting his June report by next week. We have the York County Sheriff's report, a couple of things. First, the new agreement from next year, which we've just got in this package. So I'd recommend that we just take some time during the week, look it over, and vote on this next week, if that makes sense, or if people feel comfortable or read it and want to vote on it now, that's fine too.
No.
Okay? So we have the new law enforcement services, it's about the same money as last year. And we'll review it and vote on it next week. We have,
It might be, like, just out of interest, I know the state police have been ever more present, and I believe they've been contracted maybe by York County.
correct,
Maybe, just a thought, how much coverage are we getting from them? You know, and is it a long-term thing or a short-term thing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just curious.
well, I think that we can,
Because I haven't seen, it's
Multiple.
almost like the sheriffs have gone, and, you know, we have state police now. Now, are we getting a state police vehicle in lieu of a sheriff full-time? I don't
Well,
know, you know what I'm saying?
York County does not support Parsonsville anymore.
Well,
Yes, they
except
do.
for our contract.
Well, I was getting, that was my next,
Well, that's what I'm
so
saying. Are
we have
getting-
Darren 40 hours a week.
Are we getting Darren, or are we getting a state trooper is what I'm
No,
asking?
we're getting Darren 40 hours.
Okay.
And the state troopers are filling in for the other hours that York County would normally provide. That was an agreement between the
Okay.
state police and Sheriff King.
Gary's
Now,
on vacation this week.
as someone mentioned
Now,
couple
maybe
of
that's
weeks
why,
ago.
because I was used to seeing more sheriffs than just Darren, you know, Darren would only be, if I see 3 sheriffs, Darren would only be one of them, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, we're just the other, instead
don't
of the other
see the other-
sheriffs, you're
right.
seeing the state trooper. Okay, all right.
As it was suggested last week, and I think it's a good idea, that we get in touch with the state police
Yeah.
and see if they have any records they can share with us or give us a little idea of what's happening from their perspective.
Okay.
So
Yep. Dave, you missed this whole,
I'll give,
I know you weren't here last week, but we weren't either.
I'll give Darren a call and ask who he thinks the best state police contact point would be,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And we, because our Deputy Forbes who was really Darren's boss's boss, I think, was at the FBI National Academy. We didn't get information on May and June as far as the contract incidents that happened in the town. So we had a vehicle crash involving injury on Pendexter Road. That was on 5/10, 5/25, or 5/24. Parole violation, and Deputy Sear placed him under arrest for bail violations. 6/11, a domestic dispute, disturbance on Waterley Street. No one was arrested, peace was restored. 6/12, property owner contacted the sheriff's office, report a male was being watched on security camera trespassing on the property. Sheriff got there, person was not there. 6/13,
I just signed this one.
this is maybe something that Jesse knows. House built on Maple Crest Road, contractor took $34,000 in cash to obtain a plumber and electrician and disappeared.
Well, I,
Any one of your compatriots?
Not that he's gonna own
I
it.
heard about it. It was reported to the code enforcement officer, and I made it clear it was a civil matter, it was not a code enforcement
Yeah.
issue.
Okay,
And, because he was headed to check it out, and I said, this has nothing to do with you, this is a civil matter. I
Yeah.
said, so, this was 2 months ago, maybe.
oh, okay. Well, this is 6/13.
Something
Yeah.
a couple of months ago, yeah.
When was
Well,
it?
they said 6/13, so.
Yeah, well, that's when it was reported.
Okay.
It was before, you know, they probably waited a while before anybody showed up.
Right, to see,
Realized
okay.
Nobody showed up. Yeah.
On 6/17, the East Parsonsville Post Office, a male and female were arguing next door. Deputy Sears restored the peace. No criminal conduct took place.
I feel like I signed this one twice.
So anyways,
I know,
we,
it's in that one too, though.
these are incident reports, and then plus the calls, the breakdowns,
I don't know why.
on,
That's all. We're not gonna pay it for it.
No.
What a good-
Deputy Sears call, and the rest of York County calls, so. We had a nice little information sheet on the York County Sheriff's Office, the Insider. Just things of what's happening within York County. Things that the people have accomplished. Animal control. Uh, 6/29, 6/28. We have a loose goat, or not a loose goat, the goat was tied outside the fence to eat the vegetation on the outside of the fence. And we have a concern about an owner in a Vista
223.
that had a dog, has a dog, they want it removed. The owner's saying it's a service dog. They're gonna fight the removal, so that's
I hope I don't mix them up.
Well, I'll
part of the problem that's going on. The dog has since moved to another family, but the issue still exists. We have an application for the Parsonsfield Zoning Board of Appeals. Marion Wright, who has been involved in a number of things in the town, planning board, comprehensive plan, budget committee, and her contribution is significant. So I think it makes sense to approve the appeal, or approve the application, and let Marion know.
I'll have the appointment sheet ready for you next week.
Okay. And Marion can come in and sign it.
You want to vote on that, or you just?
No, I don't know. I saw everyone nodding.
I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know it, but
You did not either? All right, boy. We'd like to vote on this application. Do we have,
Well,
anyone second the vote? Motion?
okay, so you.
I'm calling for a vote on the application.
Okay, I will second that motion,
Okay, thank you.
and I would like to discuss it.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
We wanted this,
I'm sorry, we,
we discussed it during the meeting there.
Yeah, for a committee application. I'm just concerned that there have been past instances where this person served on a board and got very upset with the decisions of the board and stormed out and quit the board.
Or not even being on a board and getting really
Yeah.
upset and coming in and just being a little fractious.
You
Quite
have to
fractious.
accept the decisions of the board,
that's
whether
true.
you're on the board or not on the board.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's great when somebody volunteers, but it is hard when,
yeah,
you know, it's hard to turn away a volunteer,
Right.
100%.
I guess I would not say no, so.
You would not.
I would not say no.
I think that's a double negative.
That is a double negative, so I would
He-
say yes.
It's a qualified yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a qualified yes.
Okay, as long, I guess our concerns have been, yeah, I completely agree with David on this. Just, I mean, I haven't been here the last few times she's been in, but it's nice to have someone that can talk and discuss something without getting extremely, overwhelmingly upset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep a level head in this stuff, and it doesn't help anybody when you get really upset. You know, whether right, wrong, or in between, the different avenues. If you feel like something's wrong, besides
Right,
screaming,
going off the
yelling,
handle,
and swearing
yes.
at somebody.
Yep, no, I understand.
That doesn't help. So, so that's known, I'm in agreement.
Now you could call for a vote.
I don't want to, I want to table it.
Okay,
No, I'd like to call for a vote.
you can call for the vote.
Okay, Mr. Bauer, David, how would you vote?
I'll vote yes.
Yes, and I'll vote yes.
Okay. After all that discussion, I probably should vote no. No, I agree. I agree with what you said. There's been some concerns about Marion's actions in some of these capacities, and planning board especially, but
And I would like to say, it's not that I don't think she has a leg to stand on sometimes, because sometimes I think she probably does, but her approach is not helpful sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
all right. So then, Deb, will you? Thank you. So comprehensive committee, I thought Harvey might be here. The next meeting is July 26th. I've got a book on what they've done, which I'll pass around to David and Jesse. They're have the plan completed except for 2 sections. And there's a lot of information there. Secaucus Road update, I think David's been away and probably no one's contacted anybody.
Yeah.
Now, Robinson Mill.
Strike out.
Yeah, you can strike that.
I'm just drawing a big line through Robinson Mill. As most,
Which is not deleting the mill, it just says sign the deed.
Oh, the
for
bill will
mill.
still be there?
Yeah, yeah.
so the deed was signed and filed and is now the property of,
Keezer Falls Millworks.
or LLC.
Yeah. And it's called the Keezer Falls.
No longer the Robinson.
That's right, so you're gonna
Keezer Falls Mill.
put something in the shopping guide?
We're gonna put a big old giant sign on
Could
the
you tell us
side,
what
so
you-
there's no confusion.
Can you tell us what you're milling?
Rumors.
Fair enough.
So the Mouses are here, we want to congratulate them on the purchase. 5 years and $200,000 and you're mill owners.
Yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? But we made it. Thank you, guys.
February 27th,
What a journey.
5 years ago.
Wow. And
I'll show you the original proposal, you didn't meet many of the goals.
I still got a call, I still got a copy of it.
So you're here, do you want to give us an update or what your plans are for next week?
Well, we're here because we have to, part of it was we're still ongoing with Stanley Building. So that's the next, I guess, part of it, to pull it all together. So we just dropped off an application for the site plan review.
You dropped off an application for?
Site plan review
Oh, okay.
on the Stanley Building. So that's, hopefully we'll get that past this as well, you know.
Do you own it already? Did you purchase the Stanley Building?
Well, we're under contract for it.
Yeah.
And, so, of course, the ongoing litigation.
Are you gonna speak to the guys that own the mill down back, see if we can put a septic down there?
The guys down at the mill?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to deal with them.
No, we've had enough of them. So,
We got a unanimous vote from Saco River Corridor 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
for just this, for using the septic tanks on the mill property
Really?
from the Stanley Building. 180 on what we've been fighting for the last few years, but it's a temporary solution.
interim solution.
Until we get a permanent septic system
Yep.
standalone for the Stanley Building.
Yep.
So that's,
That's part of what we turned in for
Mhm.
site plan review.
what else do we, oh, the deck added on to the west side, small deck, the west side of the Stanley Building, for entertaining off that little end unit. There was 2 windows on the west side of the Stanley Building that were covered in. Those are turned into doors.
Right where the moose was?
Yeah.
Below the moose,
And
Okay.
on the main level.
deck. And that and a fire escape,
Yeah.
which was shared originally with the,
The building that burned down on the east side.
yeah, so we gotta construct.
And the-
Fire escape on which side?
We on the
Or out
east
back?
side.
The east, and we're bringing it out the front. Because if we drop out the back, we'd have to go down another level.
Okay.
So it's shorter to take it to the front. And then on the west side, the way that building is, there's no accessibility, so we're gonna put a ramp. That's part of why we started thinking about doing that ramp, a deck on the west side. We could ramp up to it, get to the main level of the building, because the building steps up a foot to get inside of it, so get up on a ramp, turn it in on a deck, and then you can go into the doors that are in place of the windows that are closed off now, so.
And we just want to bring it back to its original look and function, which is, we used to have nice canopies, awnings in the front, and they had tables out front, so we'll do a wrought iron railing and an upper sidewalk area for the tables and chairs and planters and just follow it up. So we hope to get it all painted up by this fall, so. Look at something environmental. Oh, that's abandoned gas tank out front.
Was that been resolved yet, or is that?
Not really, not really.
I can't believe that's still there. There's no way.
Well,
But-
that's a weak thing.
Yeah.
But because it showed up on a 1924 Sanborn fire map, there's nothing that shows that it was removed.
Yeah.
We went
And
to
it was
the
like, why did
stage.
they do that when they put the bridge in? Because they tore all
Oh,
that
yeah,
out,
yeah.
put road base in, all that.
Yeah.
You would have thought that they would have, but normally they do what they call a spill report or something like that. A spill report is identifying something like that. They don't have one. So,
Well, you know the guy right next door to the post office, right directly across the corner from the Stanley Building, the big place there, Matthias. He owns Centerline. It's a ground penetrating radar. So he's all over the Northeast with his equipment to.
Oh, he owns that?
Yeah, he owns that. And so he offered to do it for us. So
if we paid it.
if we, yeah.
Well, yeah.
If you, don't you have one of those?
It's ours
No,
is
no,
a
so you, underground utility line detection.
utility line
This
connection.
is ground penetrating radar.
Okay, I thought yours was with the,
So on his,
going for the pipe and everything.
yeah, but we're covered for the mills. It's just, luckily it's steel. Steel pipes.
Steel pipes.
So we clip on a probe and we go in where we want to protect all the pipes. Matthias said that on his property, he bought that place. They had an abandoned tank. He thought the same thing. Oh, it's all caved in, it's full of water, everything else. So he relocated it on their environmental report. And sure enough, it still had a couple hundred gallons of gas in it.
So that's what they're worried about on this one.
Yeah.
And we're going, well, I talked to DEP, I talked to DOT and all that. They're like, well, let us know if you find something.
Yeah.
See if
They're
you're
done
around
with
with
it.
And then they said, well, maybe if it was over an aquifer or something like that, we might, you know. And I said, the mill sits over semi-gravel aquifer. He goes, oh, really?
They still
Well, let us know if you find anything. So
All right.
anyway, we're still dealing with that.
So we'll probably have to spend thousands to have a vapor test done.
So you're hoping for that decision within a week or two?
Yeah.
Yeah, week or two. So we're getting close.
Good. Keep us surprised.
We will.
In the court case on the Stanley Building, we have, of course, haven't heard anything. We have a renewal from our auditing company. I think that that should be postponed a week also. Give us a chance to look through and make some comments. I know we're all displeased with the amount of time it takes to get an audit completed when the people here responsible for it is giving them information the minute they ask for it, really. So the delays are on their part, trying to get the get the reports done. We're trying to eliminate that.
I believe some of the delays are also caused from us being busy doing other things and have to get information to them. And the tax receivable has been the biggest delay every year. So hopefully with Trio, we're hoping that that's gonna go away. You're not gonna have two systems. You're gonna have one system for accounting. So you can't, I don't believe you can point all the blame on the auditors.
Okay, I'll put it all on you.
Go right ahead. I want a raise.
No. I just think that we've given them all the support that would be expected and we've tried to help them out. And they don't just seem too, from my standpoint, they don't seem too responsive. I mean, they're, we're 2 years behind, as David mentioned a few,
Yeah, no,
and I'd like to catch up,
me too.
so.
All right, so we'll look at that.
The mechanical services agreement, I don't know if that's anything but
Still
done
on
that.
hold at this point.
All right, we're gonna have an executive session just before the end of the meeting. So we'll leave that until last. Our CPR class, the date's been changed from July 25th to July 27th. That's for all of the town employees if they want to come and get recertified.
Now, what if you only have 5 participants?
I don't know. It says 12 participants.
Right,
That's the maximum.
Right.
Okay.
Did I say 5?
No.
Oh, okay.
I said, what if you only had 5 people?
Well, I'm sure they're gonna charge us for the 12.
Yes, that's my point.
Well, he has to come out here and bring the equipment and everything, so let's encourage the people to come. You know, you got Maya, Rick, Jesse,
Yeah. What day?
4 people in here.
The 25th, or, which is a Thursday, which is probably better than a Tuesday.
Tuesday's
Yeah.
Well, do you guys wanna do the 27th of August first?
So I'm gonna be gone August 1st.
So why don't we say July 27th then?
And there's a chance that you might come, right?
Yeah.
1 to 4.
Yeah, no, I probably, yeah, definitely, August 1st, I'm going to work up north for 3 or 4 days, and then, so I'm gonna be gone.
Yeah.
I'll let Kyle know.
Yep.
So
So-
27.
27th.
All right.
We have Jen Lewis, who was here to, gave us our June report for the activities in the gym. And approval for a dishwasher. I think we're all a little uncomfortable with $6,000 for a dishwasher. We've got volunteers that will do it for, no, so we wanted to talk about, I'm sure you got this recommendation from Saban.
Yes.
Did he give you any reason why we needed a $6,000 dishwasher as opposed to a
Well, this doesn't.
600?
Yeah, this doesn't come, well, you're not gonna find one for 600.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
a regular,
A
good
regular- A regular
residential dishwasher. We're not gonna be doing, what are we doing?
I think that's worth looking into, for sure, a residential dishwasher. The thing, Saban recommended somebody who was going to give us and had a solid used dishwasher, and he was going to install for $3,000, all of it. The thing about a commercial dishwasher is that it's done in a minute. Okay, it's like a heavy duty, quick. A lot of the newer dishwashers are like literally 2.5
Yeah.
hours, and you know, I'm usually the one who's here taking care of all that stuff. But I think that's definitely worth considering. I think you're right, because we have our once a month cafe, morning coffees. It's not like you couldn't load it. The thing about a residential dishwasher is you certainly can't load it with 50 to 60 plates that are gonna
No, I mean,
Right,
we
it's-
realize it
Run
take
empty, run
2 or
empty.
3 cycles probably to do it, but
Well, the only problem, so that's kind of what I was, because I was questioning it, because that means instead of them being out of here half an hour after the dinner's over, they're here for however long, you know, because they gotta run a cycle, and then they gotta wait for that to be done if there's another load to do, you know,
Right, it would probably be a 3-load process.
yeah, so there you go. I mean,
I'd be home, come back, you know, it does stretch it out quite a bit. I think that's the advantage of having a commercial dishwasher.
Right.
Let me just go back to the fact that this guy, Bob Burns, who works with Hobart and who Saban knows, and who's
Right, that's what I was gonna ask about the used one.
right.
Yeah.
So his dishwasher ran on a 110 service, and we've got 220 in the kitchen, and he wasn't licensed to split it. So he wasn't comfortable with that at all. So he gave me the name of Jim Adams, who works with this, for a food service. He doesn't at this time have a used one. So I said, well, can you give me a quote for what would be, you know, what we could use in the kitchen? And that's where this quote comes from. And this is double what what we had.
He originally mentioned, yeah.
And I completely, I see both sides of it. I don't,
Yeah, I do
we're-
too.
the volunteers are the ones that are gonna be the ones spending the time. You know what I'm saying?
If
They're
we could get
volunteering
one
their time
for,
already.
It doesn't mean we can't keep looking for a used one. There was, Renee and Danielle had sent a link to a used one, no, it was actually on auction, from one of the local, from the schools in North, I think, but, you know, I looked at it pretty closely on the internet, and it looked like it's already corroding on some corners, and I'm like, we already have,
Right.
we're already dealing with,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Like,
what, we have $13,000 of ARPA funds, right? What have we
Something-
spent so far?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, the town approved $13,000, and I think we spent about $700 for the tables. You know, what else did I put in there?
Tables,
Shelves.
shelves, the chemical unit.
The chemical units, right, so I think we're near $13,000.
I'm definitely not opposed to it. If we could find a good used one, that would be great.
It'd be
Because
great.
I understand that it's you folks' time, like, that's gonna get, you know, it's either the town foots the bill or it's the volunteers' time. You know, and I'd like to make it a little easier on the volunteers who are the ones that are actually doing the service for the town. That's how I feel about it.
Well, the commercial dishwashers also have a sanitizing ability that is, you know. pretty-
And that's, I brought that up to
Yeah.
Ed, that you get a homeowner's dishwasher and you almost gotta check every plate sometimes to make sure you can't serve food on
Right.
a plate that, you know what I mean? So,
So Saban doesn't know about this. He's just been so out straight, I haven't talked to him, but I'm going to. I think he did put a used one in Robbins Lake, not Wakefield in, but I will talk to him again, and I'll also call Bob Burns and see if he can't keep his eye out for something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's no, we don't need it immediately,
I
but
think a commercial one would be good in the setting that we have.
I
for,
agree.
Uh,
Knowing that I was here doing all the dishes
Right.
last.
no, yeah, I don't want someone to get burnt out coming back and making trips doing dishes when they're already doing a service.
Right.
So this was just, you know, this was his quote, and this doesn't even cover installation.
Right.
So, but Bob Burns would do that. He was gonna throw all that in with the other one. I'll call him again and see what he can do.
Okay.
You know, they must
Good.
be out there somewhere. But just, you know,
And I mean, like we said, we put in 13,000, now what else are we looking at to upgrade in there?
right now, the stove is fine. You know, if we were gonna look at a propane one because of the generator,
Right.
then that's in the future.
Right.
Maybe a bigger freezer. Right now, the refrigerator is fine.
Right, and chest freezers are pretty economical.
Right, pretty economical, and, I'm gonna get another shelving unit, but that's a couple $100. And so it's not, you know, I think we're sitting pretty in terms of what we have. It's the dishwasher and the time, and it's kind of a major deal.
Yeah. We can talk about it, but if you,
Facebook Marketplace, I'll check on that.
Jen has a question on a budget.
Oh, yeah, thanks for mentioning when the budget things are due, because I'm gonna put in an item, a warrant for the Grateful Undead. We've gotten money, 500 from Cornish, Hiram, Baldwin, and Porter, and it's covering, and then if we get 500 from this town, it'll cover we don't have to do liability insurance now that we're nonprofit. We have to have insurance, we have to run the background checks for all our volunteers, so. I have 9 days to get that right.
Does she need to get signatures?
We've
No.
never had a signature requirement
No, I
for
know.
stuff like that.
I have a letter, you know, the whole process of the warrant.
Yeah, just get it to me, Jennifer.
Okay, yeah.
how much did you say it was for?
500.
Now, that wouldn't go on the annual,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
okay,
assuming we say,
oh, okay,
unless she comes in with 81 signatures. In
right,
which
okay,
case-
so that would be on with Life Flight and all the other stuff on it, okay,
Yeah.
library, whatever.
so you just give us something, and I'm sure it'll.
Okay.
All right, good.
Thank you, ma'am,
Welcome.
you've done good.
Well, things are good. I mean, you know, in spite of the summer and vacations, we still have a big crowd, and we are going to every other Monday just for the rest of July and August for coffee.
Mm,
Yeah, Yeah, just numbers it down a little bit, and it just gives everybody time to get in their gardens. But I think a lot of people are disappointed, so
Yeah.
we'll go back to every Monday,
Yeah.
end of August.
Well, it's summertime too.
Yep,
so-
pickleball's outside at the high school now,
Yep.
while the weather's good.
Well, that's good.
Well, gotta tell you, I took an introductory pickleball class.
And you
I
loved it.
I loved it. I loved it. I mean, it was short, it was an hour, and there were 12 or 14 of us.
Wow.
But, yeah,
Wow. Come on down Thursday morning.
yeah.
9 a.m. at the high
We'll
school.
see. It won't be this week. I'm still recovering from
Okay,
things, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So is that, if it's sunshine, you guys are at the gym?
yes, outside,
Okay,
yeah,
but if it's raining, you guys use it here?
yeah,
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm just thinking of those things.
and I'll let you know, like, do section.
All right, you're offline, Ed. Let's move on.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're all
no,
They had a conversation.
we have a request from the Historical Society for an open house to use the old townhouse on August 19th. Do we have a vote on that, or?
I'd make a motion that we let them do that.
They do this every year.
The good thing about this, or one of the good things, is that one of the APA requirements for fixing up the place was that it be used, the town used the facility, the building. So with the town using it, I think maybe we can get some ARPA funds there, would be eligible for some ARPA funds. We'll have one more list and one more meeting on ARPA funds, which everyone will be invited to attend. We'll use all the money because we always can use the extra money, so to speak, for our roads. So it's important that we use all the money we can for stuff that is important to the town, not just, I don't know, spend the money for the sake of spending the money. We have, so that was, we've agreed that Lynn Sudlow and the Historical Society can,
Is that 3 yeses?
that's 3 yeses. We have some permits from Saco River on some buildings that are going on down around the river. And we report recycling, savings, etc. This information will be in the annual report. A little year-end summary of what's happened with recycling and how much we've recycled and how much we've saved. So with that, that brings the that part of the meeting, or this part of the meeting, to a close. We are going to have a executive session concerning tax abatements. So with that, we will close this part of the meeting, have our executive session, and then close the meeting officially.
You could end the video?
Yeah, spend that.
You don't, okay.